So happy Wednesday, hump day. I'm going to record
Happy hump
this.
day.
Yes. Today I have my special friend with me, Jennifer Robinson. So I am so excited to see you. It's been a while, and thank you
Yes.
for being here and join us in our conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So how are you, Sarah? Enjoying the beach weather?
Yeah.
It's a great background.
I know, yeah. That's where
I'm
I want to
jealous.
be,
I
right?
want to be
Yeah.
wherever that is.
I know, yeah. So just close your eyes and you'll be there with her. So we're gonna get right into the program. Usually we just kind of introduce ourselves and to people that who have not stumbled across our platform, or someone who's new that who just discovering us. So usually we are here Monday through Friday, every day at 5 p.m. until 5:30. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we have guests with us. Tuesday and Thursday, just me and Sarah, we just pick a topic and each of us just lead a topic. So today's Wednesday. I have Jennifer Robinson, but first I'm going to ask Sarah to introduce herself, and then I will introduce myself, and then we're going to pass the mic on to Jennifer, and then she can tell us about who she is and what's her journey.
Awesome. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Jennifer. So
Good
good to have
afternoon.
you. Um, just a quick introduction. I am Sarah M. I grew up in Cambodia and lived through a very difficult time during the war in my country, and gone through the 4 horrible years in the killing fields, and was able to survive. And I am forever grateful to God that He kept my life and gave me a second chance. And
Wow.
I finally faced a need to escape. So I escaped from the communists and also finally escaped from Cambodia. And I arrived in the United States since 1981 and never look back. I'm grateful for the country, for the people, and I was able to write my story in the book, How I Survived the Killing Fields, and it's available on my website, sarahim.com. Right now,
Wow, what a story.
thank you. And right now, I'm going out in the community, sharing my story to inspire people to have hope. So I just feel like God saved me for some reason, to give people hope, because if I can come out alive, anybody can do it. So that's
That's
my
great.
message. And back to you, Lee.
Awesome. Thank you. I listen to the introduction every single day, and it still amazes me
Yeah.
every single day. I think, at the same time that Sarah is running by foot, can you imagine in the jungle? Our family was also surviving the 4 years in
Yeah.
communist. So I was born in Vietnam, and I was a teenager back at the time that the communists took over. So my family and I also escape out to the sea while she's running in the jungle. We're swimming out in the ocean with shark. But just kidding aside, is that many people actually have drowned in the ocean in that area as boat people. And our family, again, very lucky, just like Sarah, we made it, and we got sponsor, and we got love, and we got people who found us, feed us, and restore us. And that's where we are here today. I too get inspired from many other people's stories. So I did a TEDx talk, and I also wrote my book, and also now a speaker out in the community, trying to give strength and hope to people that who are drowning in the sea, not literally but metaphorically. So I have my special friend today. Oh, and if you want to find me, you can go leetran.com. I'm pretty much everywhere on social media. And my book was also called I Did Not Miss the Boats, because I didn't. And I don't want you to miss your boats either. And my special friends here actually know what's going on. She has been through a heck of a journey herself also. And she has been, like many of us, when you put in the situation, you pivot, you find your way out, you find a way to shine, to thrive. And nobody can do it better than Jennifer Robinson. She's been my friend for a long time, and I watch her journey, watch how she grow. I admire her for many years and still learning from her. And I am so happy to have her today so she can share with us her story, her journey, and what's the latest and greatest thing that she's pivoted into. So welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. And right back at you. You inspire me every day. You've been such a support for me throughout all the years I've known you, and especially through my own TEDx journey and everything that I went through to get there. Sarah, I mean, you guys both have unbelievable stories. And I'm so happy that you have the second chance and you're sharing your message. It's so important.
So tell us a little bit of I know that you have a very tragic moment, that near death. And if you could share that with our audience to inspire them. And how did you go from one spectrum? I don't want to be a spoiler alert, but from one spectrum of a career to a totally different, and still keep pivoting and keep changing and keep being innovative for yourself and for others around you?
Yeah. So I guess the journey starts in 2008. I was, a litigator. I was a newlywed, and I had a near-death accident. As you mentioned, I was a pedestrian in Philadelphia, and I got hit and pinned underneath a truck and almost died. And I suffered very, very serious physical and mental injuries as a result, including a traumatic brain injury. So in 1 minute, my whole life changed, and I went from trying cases in front of a jury and being quick on my feet to being in rehab and surgeries and PTSD and anger and, psychological issues, cognitive issues, everything you can imagine that would result from that kind of situation. Unfortunately, I did try to go back to more of a legal desk job part-time, but eventually down the road with all the, surgeries and interruptions, I felt I needed to leave. I couldn't do what I was doing before, which, was really why I went to law school. I loved being in front of a jury and, in front of an audience and trying cases and public speaking. And I literally was not able to do any of that anymore. So unfortunately, I left that at the time and decided to start a business. And really the reason I decided to start a business is because I wasn't well. I couldn't go back to a traditional 9 to 5. I had been in the corporate world, for some number of years, and I didn't feel that I was well enough to have that kind of regular schedule where I'm sitting at a desk and answering to people and, having to report somewhere with a set time, a set start and end time. So, with no plans ever to become an entrepreneur, I decided to start a business. I initially started it doing consulting based on, relationships I had had in the past with putting people together, corporations and nonprofits. And I kind of centered it on building those relationships. But essentially, the heart was building relationships. And as it grew and, people kind of helped me along find my message and what my, story was and what my impact could be, it's centered on networking. But at the time, I was really being told that I should reconsider a career that involved public speaking. And that was really hard to hear because that's what I love the most. And, I'm definitely one of those stubborn people that once I heard that was just a challenge. How long is it going to take for me to get to the point where I can do public speaking again? So long story short, here I am years later, obviously doing a lot better, not necessarily where I was before the accident happened still, but significantly better. And now the business is mainly speaking and training and only a small part of it's consulting. So I was able to pivot my career and then also pivot the business from more consulting to where I wanted it to be, which was speaking and training.
Just fascinating because I think, God has a plans for everything, every phrases, every stage in your life. Have you not changing your career? We probably have never met.
No, we wouldn't have.
No. Have I mean, I don't want to say, I mean, any tragic accident or like war torn or people who got disaster strikes, any of those, I couldn't say that's a blessing, but that is like a rerouting from God saying that, okay, this is something you do better. But it take you a tragic in order to realize that your skill, your talents is hidden there, that you have to revamp it. So I think, you know, same thing with me and Sarah. I think that we run away, not because we like it, but because we were hoping there's a better. And then you just kind of go as you go along and you find out things that you like. And from your litigation to the speaking, and I know what you're talking about, being stubborn, you know, it's like we
Yes.
strong-minded people, we're not going to
Yep.
let people tell you you can't do it because I want to prove to you. Don't look down on me.
Absolutely.
This is how I'm going to prove it to you. And more
Watch
importantly,
me,
I think,
right? I always say, watch me.
I
Yes.
know.
And, you know, I come from very stubborn parents too. My, you know, my husband, Walter, he always says, you really get it honest. And he's right. I can't really argue with him. So.
But the thing is, like, we're not trying to prove to them what they put
Right.
us down. We are trying to prove to ourselves. I think that
Absolutely.
most of the time we wanted to do it because you say, you know, you say, I can't do it. I'm going to tell myself that I can do it because I want to let the world know that I am more capable than what your judgment or your whatever prediction is. So I really
Right.
admire that. And the part of that, I think that you're building, I think relationship is everything. And
Yes.
I think we're in the same boat in that area because I know you, Jennifer, and you know me. Whenever we go out to network, we never sales. We never ask for business. Never.
No.
And what I love about you is you're authentic, being a friend, a supporter, and you make quick decisions. You know what is good for the other person, what is good for you. And you never beat around the bush and just trying to be nice just for the heck of it. And
right.
I think, you know, yeah. I mean, you will tell, and that's what I appreciate about, you know, being a friend, because I would know I would get the honest feedback if I need anything from you. And
Yes.
And building relationship, like I said, and you are known as the networking queen because you have written so many articles and you have given, and I'm still listening to some of your advices when I feel like there's a situation I don't know what would Jennifer Robinson would say
but
about
I have
that.
to be honest, I'm interrupting you. You don't need any of my advice. I mean, when we met through a women's networking organization, and you were somebody I gravitated to right away. I think because you reminded me of myself in the sense that you would talk to everyone in the room and you were smiling and genuine and friendly and just have that attitude of how can I help people? I mean, so I immediately gravitated towards you. So you don't need any help from me.
Oh, thank you. But seriously, I think, you know, that's why I think a lot of us, I think I'm sure Sarah has her own networking in Tampa Bay, and you tend to attract the people that, similar with you. I was like begets like, you know, that's the way it is. And you need to make sure that your circle is always lifting you up. And if you feel like, I mean, this is for you, the readers or the watcher, people who are looking at this, like, you have a choice. You don't have to surround yourself with the people who's always negative and pulling you down. And if you have some networking advice for our audience, what would be the advice that you give now during this pandemic time? How do people actually flourish their relationship over the camera lens where you don't even have face-to-face, that kind of interaction?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing right now, you know, we were talking a minute ago about not selling.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Nobody, I mean, this time more than ever, nobody wants to be sold to, but I think it's really important to maintain relationships. It's great if you can build new ones, you know, through some of the virtual setting, but I think mainly, are you checking in with your network? And I don't mean, you know, checking in like, on the surface. I mean, really just calling people and saying, how are you doing? You know, what's been something that's a positive silver lining that's happened for you in the last week? You know, what can I do to help you in the challenges that you're having? You know, I think it's really just about that community. I mean, I think it's like that all the time, right? I think it's always about what can you do to help the other person and how are you maintaining the relationship? But I think now more than ever, people think with networking that you have to have some kind of reason or agenda. You hear from a lot of people, well, I wanted to get in touch with them. We had a great conversation, or, you know, I really wanted to pursue the relationship, but I didn't have a reason to contact them. I think now more than ever is a time where you can really reach out and just be like, you know, it's been a number of months. We've all been dealing with this crazy year. How are you doing? You know, how's it going? Some days are really up and down. You know, what about you? I think people are so appreciative of that. And even besides the contact, whether it's virtually or on the phone, I've been trying to send out like happy mail. I'm still an old school mail person. So
I love it when I get your handwritten. You are so good with that. I have to get back on that. Really appreciate
I think, you know, if you can brighten somebody's day like that, especially now where a lot of people still aren't leaving the house much, and instead of going in the mailbox and just getting bills, they get happy mail from you. I think that can go a long way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I know the other thing, Sarah, you have any question? Because if not, I'm going to hawk her off.
Do you do any online networking?
I do online networking. I've been trying to do one-on-ones with people, you know, via Zoom or Skype or those kinds of things. I've also been trying to follow through with some of the networking I did in person with a few organizations, transitioning it to online. I definitely have been networking less overall. I think, you know, like a lot of us, I've been more focused on my own projects and my own mental health. And I think that's a positive thing. You know, I think we're all kind of dealing with this time in our own way. So I've been still networking, but I think compared to what I usually do when we're not in these COVID times, definitely networking.
It's probably save you a tons of money not going dining out there.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Yeah, me too. I was like, wow, I have a tank of gas and it's been 2 months and
I know
it's still full. It's like, wow.
I know. It's crazy.
This day that I went out, I was like, do I still remember how to drive anymore?
I know. Sometimes when I see people in person now, it seems awkward. I've heard that from a lot of people. And even me, you know, you almost forget how to interact with people after a while.
And you're just like, well, 6 feet apart.
I know.
You can't really get close. But so tell us, what is your most recent project that you're working now that you have more time to focus on your own goals for next year or this year, even at the end of this year? So what's the project you're working on?
So right now, as a result, I guess I'll bring up the TEDx talk, which I definitely want to talk about.
Yes.
So as you know, because you know me well, that's one of those things where I made it a goal for myself. You know, I said, I want to be on a stage. I have a message, you know, I need to make this happen. And I was rejected multiple times over a number of years. And then finally secured a TEDx talk that was supposed to be delivered at the University of Arkansas the week the country shut down. And so that was devastating because I had worked, you know, about 4 or 5 months or so on, you know, rewriting and perfecting the talk and practicing it and doing all these Skype sessions with the coaches and all of the stuff you know about. And you were kind enough to also review my talk for me. And I was really in the zone. And, you know, I had to make a very difficult decision to not fly. Because it just wasn't the right thing to do. And ultimately gave the TEDx talk here in Philadelphia in an empty studio with no stage, no audience, no feedback, no emotion, like not anything about it was the way I thought it was going to happen.
And that turned out to be the greatest TEDx talk ever because it's got featured on TED. Oh my God.
I know, that was super exciting. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm bringing this up. Obviously, I'm very proud. It's probably my biggest accomplishment for a long time. And it was definitely a huge goal for me. But when you talk about what project are you working on now, I really want to do more motivational speaking. My TEDx talk is about my story, but it's more about change and resilience and specifically why some people are able to overcome upheaval and trauma in their life, whatever it is, you know, what you went through, what Sarah went through, what I went through, whether it's divorce, bankruptcy, illness, death, you know, there's so many things people go through, job loss, all of it. you know, what are people able to do to overcome that? Because some people are not able to overcome it. My mother, you know, was one of those people that was not able to overcome her situation. And I just watched her decline mentally and physically until she passed away.
Yeah.
And that was very, very hard to watch. So I am kind of fascinated by what propels people to, you know, be in the place that we're at now, where, you know, you're kind of trying to come out of that and, you know, reinvent yourself and regroup and rebuild. So I'm working on a book, and the book is basically interviewing people that have been through struggles and asking them a set of questions about what was it that helped them overcome things in their life.
You need a guinea pig. Let me know.
Yeah, no, I would love to interview you.
You need a guinea pig. Let me know. But absolutely. I want to interject. This is how when you have a pack of magic circle friends, this is how things work. Jennifer and I and another friend, we were drinking, I would say 3 or 4 years ago, and make a pact that we all going to get into the TEDx. And all 3 of us did. All
3 of us did. Yes.
We did. And that's why I say that it's so important to surround people that in the same mindset and people who lift each other up, because I know if I get some good news, I know I have a friend or several friends, actually, a dozen of friends who cheer for me because I would do the same for them. And that's how we lift each other up. And when you make a pact, you go such a stronger and further than when you set a goal by yourself. So I was super, super excited when I see, you know, all 3 of us did that. And that was something that I remember we drank at, where was that restaurant in Mainline with Ash?
Maybe it was Avenue.
Yes. Yes. And it took a little while, you know, for, you know,
I was the last one. Yeah.
But the journey, you know what? Hey, you got there. And it doesn't matter. It's the preservation, is the perseverance, and is the tenacity that we set it, and we set a goal for ourselves and we did it, and we're hoping everybody else did it when we make a pact. So that's number 1. Number 2 is how hard is it? I know that for people that were standing on the stage, you see frightened, you worry that, you know, and I go, but something completely changed to stand in front of a camera in a flat little hole that with no emotion, and knowing that that's going to be the most important talk in your life. Oh my God, when I watched you, I did not know how you could do that. For me, I was just like, I was shaking for you when I'm watching you that she did it. If anybody could do it, it's got to be Jennifer Robinson.
I mean, so, it was really a struggle. You know, what made it even harder on a personal level was, you know, my husband and I during that time were really truly in lockdown. So I had all the nerves of leaving the house for the first time to go tape this. So, you know, that was impeding my memorization of the talk and my ability to deliver it. So yeah, and just, you know, not having an audience. I mean, as a speaker, I'm used to having an audience. And if there's one talk you want to have an audience for, it's a very emotional talk like that. So you're absolutely right. It was very challenging. I do want to go back to what you were saying about the 3 of us with the pact we made, because I think 2 things can really help the audience that I just wanted to highlight. One was speaking goals into existence. I know it's like a very cliche thing, but I think really putting goals out, not only to maybe a set of friends, but I mean, the TEDx talk was something I actually put out on social media. I want to do a TEDx talk. I'm going to do a TEDx talk. I was rejected again for a TEDx talk. I got my, you know, like you need to put it out there. And then I think also that accountability aspect, you know, we were all trying to do it, and we were all, you know, talking to each other. How's that going? You know, did you apply? Why didn't you apply here? So I think putting the goals out there and then having the accountability partners. Yeah,
because that's important. My husband used to say, you know me. Many people know me that I want to write my memoir for a longest time.
Yes.
And my husband is like,
you've said it a long time.
Oh my God. Yeah. But I just didn't know. I mean, this COVID is the one who gave me the gifts of time to do it. But my husband kept saying to me, he's like, I wouldn't tell people until you're done. And I said, you know what? I would not get it done unless I tell people.
I do not agree. You need the support. You need the ongoing support. But I remember hearing your story for the first time, at least part of it, when you did a fundraiser in the Philadelphia suburbs. It had to be at least 5 years ago, maybe longer.
King of Prussia, yeah, 2015.
Yeah. And I mean, just being floored. And at that point, I had known you for at least a few years. I would say 3 or 4 years. Mm-hmm. And I was really floored. And I knew, I mean, you may not have known it at the time. You know, I remember you saying, oh my gosh, I'm not a speaker. I can't do this. And look at you.
Well, you are putting a lot of fuel into my engine, that I have to say. You are the one who give me a lot of believing statements. And I don't even want to repeat it because it's over my head. And I think, oh my gosh, she's too kind. But those little things actually is the food, my vitamin that I keep going back. So I want to thank you for that. And it's just amazing to watch how everyone that we walk in the same journey, and then out of, you know, they just blossom because of the COVID. Yes. I mean, Sarah has had head up in her organization through Zoom.
Oh yeah, congratulations. That's wonderful.
It's like she did a first event virtually, and you know, she was fighting. No. But we all have to the point that we know that our limits is beyond what we put it on. Do not ever put a lid on yourself, right? So I really think that having a good circle around you is the most important things.
Yeah. And so, one thing that I've seen that's similar to you and I and Sarah is that we all, because of our circumstances, I think really feel like we have a calling. And when you feel like you have a calling, nobody's going to stop you, right?
So I am looking forward to this book. I might go a little bit before you now that I have a book that is out, but I love to help out any way I can if you need anything. But
thank you so much.
And I want to say, I mean, I have so much to say. You are the contributor of so many big, large magazine. Can you tell us a little bit about, you know, what are your regular contributing? So if people want to find you, people want to connect with you about your consultants or your coaching or your speaking, how do they find you?
Sure. So you can always email me at jennifer@purposefulnetworking.com, or my website's purposefulnetworking.com. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at RUNetworked, AREYOU Networked. I do media contribution regularly for some local TV, and I did my first national TV appearance virtually over COVID, which was really exciting. And I do write for a lot of publications. As of yesterday, I think you saw on Facebook already, I was really excited. I applied a while ago to be a contributor for Entrepreneur Magazine, and I found out yesterday that I was accepted as a contributing writer. So
you are the most persistent person I've ever known. Like, a women's conference in Philadelphia, that you were wanted to be sick, and then I'm watching you and I'm learning. I was like, she is not letting the no stopping her from do it over and over and over.
You never let no stop you either. Both of us are like that.
I get lucky sometimes.
No, it's not luck. No, it's exactly what's supposed to happen.
That's wonderful. Thank you. But I congratulations. And we need to connect more. I mean,
yes.
So I have a question about your networking business. Do you run a networking organization, or you just do the consultation?
So when it's not COVID, I do consulting, I do speaking, training, keynotes. Sometimes I moderate panels or I MC events. I do all those kinds of things. I'd say during COVID, I've been doing some consulting. I've been seeing some private clients virtually, and also some virtual speaking. Not as much speaking as I usually do, because usually I'm out at, companies and law firms and bigger events, and I definitely miss that a lot. But right now I'm doing mainly online consulting and online speaking.
Okay.
She keeps herself very busy, I have to say. So thank you so much for being here with us, and we'll hope to get you back when your book is done. So do you have any projection when it's going to be done? Or
I'm hoping I can have a draft by the end of the year. That's my
awesome.
goal. So we'll see if that works out. And
That's
if not,
great.
hopefully soon afterwards. But I'm going to keep, we're still 2 months.
You'll get
I'm going to keep the end of the year as my goal.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
Yeah. Sarah, it was so nice to meet you. And thank you so much, both of you, for having me. This has been great.
You too.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for watching. And we will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. So stay tuned. And if you want to connect with Jennifer, I'm going to ask her to put her contact information, her website. Actually, I did have that on my on the post. So feel free to reach out to her. She is a wealth of information about just about anything that you have a question, you can ask.
Maybe her. Not math, but
especially if it's about networking.
Yes.
I mean, if you have any networking that you're shy or anything, she can guide you. She has a process. So she's just a wonderful person and a beautiful friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, ladies.
All right. Bye.
Good night.